Let's bring in Jonathan Turley, George Washington University professor and Fox News contributor. Professor, thanks for being with us on such short notice. We seek your expertise in this. Let's first of all play that moment from the briefing where Jackie Heinrich asked Caroline Leavitt about that second attack on a Venezuela drug boat. Listen here.
You said that the follow-up strike was lawful. What law is it that allows no survivors? The strike conducted on September 2nd was conducted in self-defense to protect Americans in vital United States interests. The strike was conducted in international waters and in accordance with the law of armed conflict.
So she says that Admiral Frank Bradley, who is the commander of the Special Operations Command, gave the order for the second strike. I looked it up quickly, and it says that a second strike is allowed if, quote, the attacker cannot confirm destruction from the first strike. I imagine that would be regardless of whether there were survivors or not. What do you know about this, Professor?
Well, this is highly contextual, as you might imagine. The law of war deals with a situation that is the example of the fog of war, right? I mean, the fog of war has a certain fluidity to it. Decisions are made very quickly. Some of those decisions might be mistakes. What is clear is that you cannot issue a strike on survivors of a wreck just to kill the survivors. That is against the laws of war. It's against federal law, which has been incorporated by the Senate through treaties. So those points are very clear. The question that is not clear is what happened here. Now, what was just suggested by the White House was that the second strike was meant to fully destroy the vessel. Now, that can be done within the rules of or the laws of war. That is, obviously in World War II and other conflicts, a coup de grace, a torpedo or shell was used to bring a ship finally to rest. So there's no question about that. It's a question of the motivation. So it's not uncommon for finishing shots to occur if the boat itself was not fully destroyed. Now, the argument of critics here is that this is not a battleship. This is not a destroyer. It's not even a cruiser. It's a small boat hit with a large munition, and that it was largely destroyed. And so the question is, was this to kill the survivors or truly to destroy the rest of that ship?
She also added some news in that briefing that the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, met with members of Congress over the weekend who had concerns about the strikes. Just wonder where you see all of this going next. Final thought, Jonathan.
Well, Senator, there's already been talk about a congressional investigation. The key here is going to be what the admiral had intended here, if he was intending to take out the remainder of the boat. It likely is within the laws of war. These are very difficult decisions to sort of walk back in time. But it'll depend a lot upon that videotape, what orders were given. The secretary here has denied the allegation that he gave an order to kill any survivors. And so that is now clear on the record and contradicts the original media report.
All right, but there is confirmation, though, of a second strike against the same target. So we'll keep following this and see where it goes.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Professor, always great to get your thoughts on things. Thanks for joining us on short notice.
Thanks.
Right.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.